Welcome to the first video of section 8.3. If you were to hear a poll that said a certain candidate running for president has 40% of the vote within 3 percentage points, most election polls are often calculated with 95% confidence. So the pollsters would be 95% confident that the true population of voters who favor candidate is between 0.37 and 0.43. The procedure to find the confidence interval for a proportion or a percentage is similar to that for the population mean, but the formulas are different. The underlying data set in a proportion problem follows a binomial distribution, like we learned back in 4.3. Please recall, n is the number of trials, and p is the probability of success. To form a proportion, we define the random variable p prime, and we represent it by the random variable divided by our sample size. P prime follows a normal distribution for the proportions. Notice our P prime is the proportion of success, whereas Q prime is the proportion of failure, or the complement of the proportion of success. Our error bound, or our margin of error, once again uses a z-score, but look what we use here instead. Probability of success times the probability of failure divided by the sample size, and then we take the square root of all that. The confidence interval is really similar to our normal and our t, whereas we take our proportion, our probability of success, subtract the error bound, and for the upper bound, we take the probability of success and add the error bound. On the next page, you'll see a couple of methods to using your graphing calculator to finding a confidence interval of a proportion. Consider example 9 about the poll of 1,200 voters. When you do, see if you could define the random variable x and p prime in words. Go ahead and pause the video while you do this. And x is the number of voters who said the economy is the most important issue in this election, whereas p prime is the proportion of voters sampled who said the economy is the most important issue in this election. Which distribution should you use for this problem? We'll use our normal distribution with a mean of 65. Our probability of success is 0.65. Our probability of failure is 0.35. 1 minus 0.65 divided by 1,200. Now that can be tricky to plug into your calculator. Next, construct a 90% confidence interval and state the error bound. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you're able to do that. And just a note, I would highly recommend learning how to use your graphing calculator to find confidence intervals. It's a huge time saver. So just as a quick review, we'll go to Stat if we're using the TI-84, and then we'll go to Test. We're going to select letter A, which is the 1 proportion z interval. Now be careful here, because when you enter x, they did not tell you how many people said the economy was most important. They told you 65% of 1,200 said it was most important. So in this case, to find x, you would have to take 0.65 times 1,200. Our sample size is 1,200. our confidence level is 90%. And hopefully you got these answers here. Now, what would happen to the confidence interval if the level of confidence were 95% instead of 90? And the confidence interval would get wider because it would have to account for more variation. Moving on to the next page, go ahead and read example number 10. And you'll see, once again, this is a proportion. Either people admitted they have illegally downloaded music or they did not. So we're going to use a proportion interval here. In this case, our P prime, the number who admitted downloading illegally, over our total participants, which is about 0.14, which means our Q prime will be the complement of that. We know our confidence level is 99%, so our alpha will be 1 minus 99%, and our alpha over 2 will be 0.005. So I'm doing this by hand, but notice how much faster it is to use our calculator. Now, using my inverse norm, we're going to get our z to equal about 2.576. And using the formula for our error bound, or margin of error, we'll get about 0.037. So we need to add 0.037 to our mean, and we have to subtract 0.037 from our mean, or in this case, our P prime. And we should get a final answer. Now, for those of you who prefer to do this by hand, that's what you would do. I really prefer the graphing calculator though. As you can see, it's a lot faster. In example B, we are asked to list some factors that could affect the survey's outcome that are not covered by the margin of error. And one could be that a large non-response rate could affect reliability, and also people might not feel comfortable admitting to illegal activity. It's quite possible, perhaps, the true proportion of adults who have downloaded music illegally is probably greater than the survey shows. In addition, below you'll see two formulas. One is for if researchers desire a specific margin of error or error bound formula, they could use this right here. Or if they desire a specific sample size, they can use this right here. Let's look at example 11. And we suppose an internet marketing company wants to determine the current percentage of customers who click on ads on their smartphones. How many customers should the company survey in order to be 90% confident that the proportion is within 5 percentage points of the true population proportion of customers who click on the ads? So in this case, we're looking for a specific sample size. Since we're not given a specific proportion, we're going to let P prime be 0.5 and Q prime be 0.5. Otherwise, we'd use the proportion they gave us. And since we have a 90% confidence level, our z will be 1.645. We figured that out earlier in the section, and we need our error bound to be less than 0.05. So we'll go ahead and type this into our calculator, and we'll get about 270.6, which would give us 271 customers should be surveyed. And that's the end to our first video in section 8.3.